everybody? Is everybody all right? Welcome to the first ever TT Podcast Live. We are back. I know we've been off the airways for quite some time now, but we are back. And guess what? We've got someone new joining me. Obviously, I'm Chris Pritchard, and this, everybody, is Lee Johnston!
I'm just glad everybody cheered, because that was the bit I was worried about in case it was going to go eerily silent. So
in here, applause, and he said to me, "What happens if nobody applauds for me?" There we go. You're always, whenever you're on the island, you're always going to get an applause.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit different for you.
It's a lot different for me.
It's brand spanking new for you.
I'm normally used to being sat over there and trying to think of all the witty ways to take the Michael out of you. Yeah. So tonight I'm going to be well behaved, and hopefully no one does that to me.
The Lieutenant Governor's in, I believe, so you have to be on your best behaviour.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, sir. Welcome. We've got any other special guests apart from Johnny Egginbottom there, obviously. Johnny, one of the travelling marshals, will speak to you later. Right, so tell us what's going to be happening. Obviously, TT 2025 for you is going to look a hell of a lot different to last year and the year before that.
Yeah, obviously big changes. We're going to be doing a lot more with the TV side of things. Not as much with the commentary guys, and then obviously on the podcast as well. So super excited about all that. It's a big learning curve for me, especially sitting here tonight in front of all you people. It looks like there's even more people sat looking at me right now than what I was worrying about earlier, so that's made it slightly worse. So thanks for that.
More nervous doing this than you are about going down Glencrusher Road at 200 mile an hour?
Oh yeah, I can't see any of these guys when I've got my helmet on. Yeah.
Doing what you love to do.
Yeah, that's a thing that it's not easy watching all these guys have fun, but to be able to hopefully be here and explain how that feels to you guys, and if I can make your experience a little bit better, then all the better for everyone. And
we were saying just off stage there that a lot of the people that we're going to have on stage tonight, it's going to be their first time that they've come back to the island since they were at the TT. Is this when people's nerves start to really kick in a little bit? Yeah,
I think of different names and stuff now, but always the traditional press launch was the first time that most riders would be back on the island since the TT. So you get that little bit of you're back on the ferry for the first time or back on the plane for the first time, and it's not always an enjoyable experience. The nerves you feel when you come to this island is second to none. So yeah, them guys are going to be feeling that tonight.
So your nerves tonight were coming back here for tonight were slightly different then?
Yeah, obviously getting to be with you today was a right laugh, so that made me slightly less nervous, but other than that, it was good.
Absolute tool. Right, shall we get our first? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys. Finally, a bigger laugh for me than you. Right, shall we get these guests on? Right, so TT25 obviously is just around the corner, but we want to take a retrospective look at TT 2024, and who better to do it with than the people that won every single race last year? Peter Hickman, Davey Todd, Michael Dunlop, the Crowe brothers. But the Crowe brothers. But before we get those all on stage, we want to bring out two people who aren't, what's the word? It's not that they're not afraid. What's the word I'm looking for? They're no stranger to the top step of the podium.
Absolutely not.
Not like you either. Right, let's bring these two on. Everyone make some noise for Ben Birchall and Dean Harrison. Take a seat, gentlemen. How are we, first and foremost?
Fantastic.
Tip-top.
Yeah?
Good to be here.
Bit of a late entry, eh, Ben?
Yeah, can't beat a late entry though, can you?
We love it. Hey, listen, I'm glad you're here.
Oh.
And so is everybody else.
Yeah, do you realise I had to travel 6 miles to get here?
Oh, boo-hoo. All right, seeing as we're on that conversation, obviously you are now a resident of the island.
No, actually, I'm a come-over at the minute. If I live here 5 years, then I'm a stopover.
Right.
I've been victim of racist attacks and all sorts of things.
You're not a yeser then?
Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not a yes man, no.
You're not a yes man, no?
No.
Right, so how long until you're an official resident?
5 years, I think. Is it 5 years? Yeah. 5 years.
Are you sure we can't just adopt him straight away and have him as an islander straight away?
I heard it were 5 generations with you lot, not just 5 years.
I think it has to be an accent thing. Surely when someone sounds Manx, then that's them.
That counts you out.
Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel at home here?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. That's the whole point of moving. It's a nice place to be. Everyone's really nice and kind, and it's just very relaxed, chilled out. You can imagine I've lived in Bradford all my life, so moving from Bradford to here is a bit of a contrast. I don't just mean scenery-wise, in people and all the other bits and pieces. So
Culture.
Yeah, there's definitely a culture difference. Yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
diverse. Is it diversity of the world? Diverse the word?
Not here, it's not. Is it?
That's a bit strong, isn't it? Calm down, you know what I mean? It's a children's show, you know what I mean?
What? No, I'm saying... Anyway.
He's saying all the right things for you guys to let him stay. I know that much. He's saying how nice everyone is.
Yeah, no, honestly, no, I did really enjoy it. It's really nice. Like, for example, Vicky sent me a picture, came off the boat. She was back on Monday because the kids are at school Tuesday, and she sends me a picture getting off the boat, and the scenery of the bay and things a little bit nicer than where I was. So I thought, once I finished doing what I'm doing, I quite enjoy looking forward to coming home. I'd say travelling, I travel a lot. You can imagine doing the British Supersport, tested, and you hear there and everywhere. I do travel a lot. But now to come home and reside here is the word, I suppose? I don't know. To come back here makes me feel quite happy, to be honest.
So you kind of had two big moves, didn't you, really, in 2024?
What's that?
Two moves.
Not sure.
Wait, is this not sign language for two big moves?
Would anyone else like that hand gesture explaining right now?
Is that because I changed teams? Or?
This is a podcast. Listen,
team?
people listening to this won't understand what I'm doing.
So you describe to the people listening right now what that means.
All that literally just tickle in the air. It's a Sheffield thing.
But
tickle
what
in the air.
was the big move gone?
The big move. Obviously, you moved across to the Isle of Man, and you moved teams. You moved to the factory Honda team. A huge move in any motorcyclist's career.
Which one of them went a bit calmer?
Went a bit easier.
Easier.
Yeah, no. Switching the teams are probably I don't know. Moving house wasn't too bad.
Compared to switching teams.
Yeah, exactly. No, switching teams. It was a massive decision for me to move to Honda, obviously, and it obviously didn't get off to probably the best of starts. You know, we had a few. I don't know if I'd say technical issues or technical problems we had sort of the start of the season. Obviously, such a new bike. But I think we definitely made the most of what we had available to us at the time, and we didn't do too bad of a job.
And you feel now, going into your second year, you feel settled there? You feel ready to kind of move on and get back to winning ways?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. You know, I didn't feel like I got the best out of the Superbike last year. We've obviously getting moved between classes and things like that, because I started the season quite fast on the Superbike, even in BSB level, and then it sort of we got switched and things like that because of parts and what and why for. The Northwest 200, unfortunately, we only had one super stock bike because there were issues with delay with parts getting the Super Sport and the Superbike built. Obviously, we got to the TT and we had issues with the Superbike, so we ended up running, for example, we run a super stock engine in the Superbike chassis, which obviously, when you're trying to compete against Pete, Michael, Davey, if you're not playing, if you haven't got the same speed and pace, sort of the out of your bike as they have your bike, so you have your bike as they have their bike, you almost feel like sometimes you bring a bit of a knife to a gunfight.
Let's bring Ben in here, because I think it's a nice segue for someone who probably makes his own parts in his own garage, who probably doesn't have this trouble. But I mean, you've had your own troubles recently. I saw you, when was it, Donington, British Superbikes, and we'd left from the TT, and I thought, you know, everyone's just getting on with their lives and getting ready for TT 2025. I see Ben, he looks as happy as ever, and I say, you all right? And he's like, no, not really. So what have you been up to? And then for those that don't know, pick up the story, Ben, because I thought you'd just been having an enjoyable off-season.
Yeah, last year was a bit different, obviously, without Tom, which everyone knows of, and I had a great time building up and at TT with Kevin, which was as good as it could have been. But didn't have much planned after that other than Southern 100, so I was going to go a bit of a different direction and have a go on a solo for just a bit of an itch to scratch. And I was busy training on my push bike, which I always do, mountain bike, and had a bit of a tumble on it off Blencathra, which is quite a large mountain in Lake District, and just smashed myself to bits, really. I broke my back, broke every rib except two, some bleeding, some... Yeah,
you played it down a little bit.
Off. If it weren't for Keswick Mountain Rescue, I would not be sat here 100%. And it was rough.
So you fly around this place at over 120 miles an hour.
It's ironic, isn't it? Yeah. And it's...
I did say that.
Yeah.
When I found out you'd done what you'd done, I says, you've drove mountain, what, 3 or 4 times now you've been up Edgett Mountain?
Yeah.
Falls off a push bike and breaks his back.
No,
I couldn't believe it.
But the big thing from that is like you take for granted how well looked after we are here, or even on a short circuit. Like the second you fall off, someone's to you. You were laid on the side of a mountain, and they were probably there really quickly for what they were doing, but you're still there for 15-20 minutes lying, having a few strong words with yourself. Imagine the situation.
The crash bit was something that you're used to. You're used to crashing, and I knew straight away that I'd done a good job of it. Then, you know, there's no marshal saying, "No, you're all right."
Yeah.
You know, when's he coming? He's not. And it was that bit that was, and then all of a sudden it kicks in. It's took me 2 hours to get up here on an e-bike. How long before anyone can? How do you get someone here? They're not going to drive up there. And one guy ran the whole way with an oxygen bottle, just a small oxygen bottle, and it was him that sort of got me to a point where I could think about what was coming next.
So you played it down, but genuinely it was life and death.
It was rough, yeah, real rough, and my family's been amazing through it. It's been a bit of a tough road to get fit, tough road to decide if it's something I need to carry on doing. You know, what's the motivation to do it? But the motivation to get fit is to come back here and do this place and something that I've got unfinished business with. And yeah, doing all right. I'm doing good. I'm back fit and back doing what I want to be. And done loads of crack with John through winter on enduro bike. He's really helped me. And him, my first ride on a bike was with you on it. Just nobody knew, and you were like, "Come on." I just felt like I was going to snap it off again, but obviously we didn't.
You've got to start somewhere.
Going, and all the steel works out. They actually fused 5 vertebrae, so I had two rods and 4 screws in each rod just to support it.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
I was about 1 millimetre off being paralysed. They had to use a robot to do an operation. It was so delicate.
Really?
Yeah.
So you feel all right, you're capable of getting in the outfit, you don't feel that this injury is going to hinder you moving forward into 25?
No, not at all. It's not. We're bike racers, it's what we do. Injuries are part of it. They're never allowed to come into the factor whether you can or can't do it unless it's, you know, really.
If you can just about do it, you're doing it.
If you just think you can, you're going to find a way of doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel it'll hinder me. If I did, I'd think twice about coming or in what capacity I would come, but it certainly ain't going to stop me doing anything. I've ridden solos, enduros, mountain bikes, sidecars since, and I'm good. So
we could go down one path of you getting back on a solo bike and potentially racing here on a solo, but TT 2025, you've got a new passenger, Patrick Rosney.
Yeah.
How you been getting on? How you been gelling?
Good, really good. I would say I'm in a lot better position than I was last year. Kevin were great, but he didn't speak much English. I didn't speak any French. I did try a little bit, but you can imagine how that went.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear a little bit of that French right now?
Made, that was
That's enough, that's all you need. What more do you need?
No, good with Paddy, and it's come together a bit late, let's say, but straight away, he's a real good passenger. He doesn't realise how good he is, to be honest. He's a passenger that's probably more like Tom was. Bit lazy in his movements, which is more like what I'm used to. Someone that's not keen to help me do a left and help me do a right. He sort of just has a real feel for it. And to me, a good passenger is a lad that's not someone that wants to drive it, if that makes sense to anyone out there. I'm doing the driving. You need someone that's going to help you drive and not have an aspiration to try and help you steer it and be looking. They just need to do their job, and he's gone good. We've done a lot pre-season. We've got a lot planned before, so he's good, and he's northern, and he's talks
not
like
French.
I do, and not French, and a spade's a spade, and he likes brown sauce.
Might be easier to understand a Frenchman than a northern.
We got quite a good behind the scenes, obviously working with Tom last year, and my understanding level was nowhere near obviously like what yours is, but I'm probably one of the few people in the world that's had the joy of sitting in a sidecar beside both of these people. One tried to kill me, one didn't. I'll let you think who that probably was.
It's got the dafty grin.
But the big thing for me is like, I don't think a lot of people understand how much the passenger actually does.
Hey mate, I didn't. And hand on heart, I didn't, because I've always had Tom. And I never had to say, no, don't do it like that, do it like, you need to do this. And all that happened was, he'd say, you've just gone flat through endocrine cavity and we didn't last year or ever before. Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And he just dealt with it. And that was such a unique situation and a unique pairing that I didn't take for granted. I just didn't know any other. But the minute I'd not got him, I was like, Jesus, what? I don't know what to say. Kevin was a professional passenger, but he weren't doing what I wanted, but I didn't know what I wanted either. So this year is going to be really good because I've sort of learned a year of that, and the more that I rode with Kevin, the more I got, oh, I need to tell him to do that, or the bike's doing this because Kev does it that way. And it's tricky. It was really tricky and really hard. And to come back here, I sort of come back here with a number 1 plate on, carrying 14 wins behind me, and wanting to win again. It was not going to happen. It just wasn't, because none of it was ready. Whereas now I'm in a position where I can feel I'm ready, and I'm going to deal with practice week in a way that will bring us both up, and I'll know what I want because of what I knew from last year. So
you both, we'll round it off in a second, but you're both in very similar positions. Both have won TTs, both capable of winning TTs, but you've got some tough competition.
100%, yeah. But that's why we go racing, isn't it? You don't. It's no good just coming and riding around on your own and going home with a trophy and saying I've done it.
Yeah.
You need competition, and the sport needs competition, and people want to see a race, and all them lot want to see 2 Manx lads win. But I'm going to try and stop that. Sorry. But that's what it's about.
We might have a Manx winner over here, technically.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you as well, Dean? Obviously, if either of you managed to make it onto the podium, top step of the podium, you'll have beat some of the greatest TT, riders, passengers, drivers.
Well, yeah, exactly. Ever. You look at the current crop of riders in the competition is probably as fast as it's ever been.
Yeah.
I'd say, and there's more people in a smaller space of time that makes life very difficult.
Yeah.
It is. We always say it every year, and it's the best of the best at the greatest ever place and the greatest ever road race, and the crop that's in it. I wouldn't like his job 100% when you look at who's and what's got to happen and what's going to happen, and we're in for a treat. We're all in for a treat, all roads, because I'm a fan as much as I'm a driver and a participant of it, but I can't wait, and it'll be electric. What we're going to have this year will be something special.
Why do you think he's sat here now? This is exactly why he's sat here.
Bottle's gone.
I'm voting. Yeah, that's 100%. I'm voting Dean for residency once he wins a TT this year.
That's the only way you're going to get residency.
I think they'll claim him straight
no pressure.
Away. Yeah.
100%.
The only reason why he's there is probably getting paid a lot of money. There's obviously more money in this than there is doing what we're doing, because I know how bad it is with money.
Right, lads.
I wish Steve, anyway, nobody's asked about him.
He's just behind the... Hold on a second. Steve.
No. There was a strict policy on the door out there. Do not mention Steve Plater.
I missed that.
It really upsets him. Right, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Dean Harrison and Ben Birchall. Cheers, gents.
Thank you.
That went all right.
Yeah, I think I've sort of slipped under the radar.
Yeah?
Oh.
Hello. Just take that mic for a minute, please. I think we're... Are we good to go to get our next... Right, perfect. Our next TT winner debuted in... When did he debut? He doesn't know, he doesn't care. 2018. 2019, finished in the top 10 in every single race. Got his first podium in 2022, which was technically the TT after 2019 because we had that little old virus. And then he got his first win in 2024. And he is currently the reigning senior TT winner. It is Davey Todd! Woo! Yeah, woo! Cheer for him. Cabbage. Sit down. Davey Todd. You all right?
Real good, mate, yeah. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you for asking. At least somebody asks. Nobody cares about me. Mate, I don't know where to start with this one. like I said at the start, we're going to take a look back at TT 2024, but I bet you're chomping at the bit for 2025 already. But before we get into it, let's talk about that first victory. Superstock race, 3 laps. Now, every TT competitor comes in thinking they can win, wanting to win, knowing that they're getting closer and closer to the win, and we saw it in you. It was only I think it was a matter of when, not if. Did you expect it to happen when it did?
I don't know about expecting it. I think you'd be a bit crazy to expect winning a TT, but I was trying to, of course. But I don't know. I think Superstock, I guess, was probably the one, if any. If I had to pick one where I thought I stand the best chance, Superstock was the class. I was racing British Championship, Superstock. So it just sort of made sense. I've got 2 titles now in Superstock at British Championship, so that should be like, I guess, the reason why Superstock would be my best chance. But I don't know, I always feel comfortable on the big bikes, and yeah, it was a perfect race for me. Like, I think the best possible way to do it as well. In that Superstock race, I didn't want to win one, because we talked about the one earlier in the week, the Superbike race, where I was running second and Michael had the issue. And that could have been my first win, but then I had an issue as well. My bike wouldn't start in the pit stop. So Pete ended up getting it going from third to first. And yeah, that wouldn't have felt like, to me, that was Michael's win. Like, he was the one who deserved to win that race, because he was the fastest guy. And my Superstock win was I felt like my win. I deserved to win it. I battled Michael and Pete the full race and won the race hands down, and yeah, it was a perfect one.
Would you say, because you're so confident in the bike and riding the Superstock bike all the time, for people that maybe don't understand, would you put more pressure on yourself in that race because you knew you had a better chance and you had a better feeling on that bike? Were you slightly more nervous for that race than maybe the first Superbike race, or what was the feeling like for that?
No, I don't think more pressure. I think I probably put the pressure on myself to win every race, or like to try and win every race. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's that little bit of a thing in the back of your head before the race, when you're thinking about it and thinking Superstock is going to be my best shot. Practice week, I knew I was quick on the Superstock bike, and what I actually rode in the Superbike race was a stocker, basically the full Superstock chassis. Basically a Superstock engine as well, stock electronics. So I loved the stocker, and I wanted basically 2 Superstock bikes anyway. So yeah, I get in one sense, but then the Superbike race, as I say, I was on a stocker too. So then I was like, I know I can ride that fast. It's super sport, everything you try your best on, don't you?
So did you feel like you'd made a massive step up from where you were last year? Because it seemed that, we've said it time and again, we were talking about the big 3. Everyone's going, oh, is the big 4 going to be a thing? It became a thing. And it literally, from the second night of practice, you'd kind of become, you'd just fitted straight into it, into the top 4. There was no kind of edging closer and getting there and, oh, maybe you will. It was like, oh, right, he's here, he's arrived. Did you feel like, as soon as you got here in 2024, that there was a change, slightly better bike potentially, the team around you seemed like a really good, tight-fit team around you?
Yeah, I guess, to be honest, a lot of things contributed to it. 2023 wasn't the year that I wanted it to be. 23 was... I actually wanted 23 to be what 24 was. Yeah. And that was a goal, and just had a nightmare of a year, really. 2023, just had a few issues, a few bike issues, few other. I ended up getting sick in race week, and it like wrote me off for like half the races. So it just didn't really go as I'd planned. So I was pretty fired up going into 24 because of that reason, because I had not a good 23. And yeah, in all honesty, like, not that I said to anybody, but in the back of my mind, it did fire me up a little bit that the big 3 thing, just every time I heard it fired me up inside, that everybody was talking about the big 3, and nobody was expecting me to win, but like, just nobody even thought I could do it, or it felt to me like, oh, if you're lucky, you might get a podium or something like that. And I just wanted to prove that I can win races at the TT. So I guess that lit a bit of a fire, and right from practice week, I felt good. I felt happy with the bike and with the team and everything. So I was just, yeah, I guess I felt ready for it.
Do you think that changed? Because like Chris said, it was really early on in practice week when you started to go good. Like you were right at the front straight away. So do you think come Wednesday, Thursday, all them opinions had already changed, and it was a bit harder to get around the pits, and more people are stopping you and talking about these things? Do you think that had already started before the first Superbike race?
I think so. Yeah, probably before the end of practice week, definitely a lot of people had. Not that I'd said anything, but quite a few people had come up and went, "Oh, everybody talked about the big three. Maybe we should have called it the big four or something like that." But I'd already got my mind set on it. That like that stuck in my head, that little thought, and yeah, I just a little bit more attention. But you don't think about that. You know that as a rider, like that's just part of it, the outside thing, your mindset on what you're doing and the racing and thinking about getting out there and trying to go as best you can. But at the same time as well, like, you know, practice week doesn't tell the full story. You're not laying down your best laps. Nobody's necessarily laying down all they've got in practice. So you can't be too confident thinking, oh, I've been strong, I've been in the, you know, been the fastest, been second fastest, third fastest in practice, because you probably always leave a bit in there for the races. So knowing that I had a little bit more, but you're trying to think, does Michael have a bit more? Does Pete have a bit more? Like, where's everybody going to stack up? You just have to get out there and do what you can do. So
you saved your best for last, really, didn't you? I mean, if I'd have said to you at the start, do you want a Superstock win? You'd have gone, yeah, I'll take that. That'll do for me. But then to get right to the last race, the blue ribbon event, and go out there and sock it to them all and come back as the senior TT winner. In fact, we've got some footage that we'll put on the screen. Just talk us through this moment in particular. You're coming down, for people listening, you're coming down the return road into the winner's enclosure. Your team are not even in the winner's enclosure before they meet you.
They're all out there.
What's happening there? What kind of feelings are we feeling?
I can honestly, that emotion I can still feel now when I like watch a video, and I've watched it over a lot of times, to be quite honest. Just, it doesn't get better. It's a senior TT, and I can't explain, like, it's so hard to explain that, like, just the best possible thing that you can ever imagine happening. And
there's your dad as well.
It's what happened, yeah. With the team, you know, the work everybody puts in, it means so much to everybody. You know, I think all the teams are very similar that come to the TT. All the guys who were there, it's out of passion. It's not, it is the job, but it's not, they're not there because they're getting paid to be there. They're there because they want to be there and they want to do well. And it's the same for the whole team. It's what they all worked for, is to win the TT, and it was such a big thing. They'd not won one in a long, long time. Yeah. Hasn't won one in a lot of years, and yeah, it was just honestly a surreal experience. It took so long for it to sink in.
So at what point did it settle in? Obviously, you've got the podium there, Josh, yourself, and Dean. Like, what point does it settle in? Is it weeks, months later down the line when you have this realization of it, or?
It's weeks and months, definitely weeks and months. For so long, you're literally floating for weeks after that. My BSB season actually took like quite a steep downturn.
Yeah, a little bit. You tried to throw that championship away afterwards, didn't you?
I'd won every race up till the TT, and then went home from the TT, and it was just like, I struggled to find the motivation, and I said this openly to quite a few people, that they're like, what happened? Like, you were out there winning races in Superstock, like, relatively easily, and then after the TT, and I was like, to be honest, I just don't care anymore. Like,
yeah.
Superstock, I've just won the senior. Like,
it's a lifetime ambition, isn't it, to win that? When you set out on your road career, that's the one thing you look towards. Obviously, one man that had a huge impact on you, your mentor, I'd say, John McGuinness. In fact, we've got a clip of that as well. John came up to you after the podium. We can't hear what's being said there. I don't even know if you can remember. But what does that mean to you?
to have John there and everything that John's done for me since I started the TT, and for him coming over, and he's given me so much like really amazing advice over the years, and he'd just come over and he was like, you know, I explained about his first one and just said, you know, I remember it. And he was like, your life's going to change now. I was like, he was like, just your life's going to change now. That's it.
So what changed the most? What was the best part of being senior TT winner? What doors did it open for you?
Just, it's been anywhere in the world. Like, we always sort of talk about this and talk about superbikes, maybe BSB or even World Superbike, and somebody asks what you do when I'm over in New Zealand and you're in the middle of nowhere, like not a bike circuit or anything to do with bikes, and you get talking about bikes and you say, oh, like, race British Superbikes, and like, what's that?
Yeah.
World Superbike, oh, what's that? Is that Valentino Rossi? But if you say, oh, the Isle of Man TT, they're like, what? Isle of Man TT? That's crazy. And then that expression, then you go, I won that. It's
I've won the biggest race there.
It's just the next level. It's just like something else, and I feel that it's not about how somebody else reacts to it. For me, like every time I think about the fact that I won a TT and won the senior TT, it just gives me that like crazy feeling that it's still mad. Like,
it's still mad.
Yeah.
And you get that for a whole, like normally when you race in British Championship, you race every 2 weeks, but this is once a year, so you've got a whole year of people telling you how awesome you are until the next one round, which is no matter who you are, that's a good thing to get. And obviously you will always be a TT winner, but to say, oh yeah, I won the last one, is you get that for a whole year, so that feels as special as anything, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. You know, British Superbike, you win a race and the next weekend you forgot because somebody else has won, or even the next day somebody else has won the next race. But just getting to stand, and I got to come over to the island, and they had the senior TT trophy in the race office up there, with the newly engraved 2024 winner's name on it, and it was just I spent.
You're telling me you don't get to keep that and put it on your mantelpiece?
I wish I did. I won't be able to give it back though. That's the problem.
All you have to do is win it next year.
That's all right. Yeah, that's the plan.
So real quickly, before we get the next guest on, it is an exciting time, 2025. Loads of stuff has been going off, and we'll talk to Pete when he comes on about it. But from your point of view, British Superbikes was important to make sure you got into. It looked like you were going there. Then the whole thing fell through. But now we're going back there with your own team, and you're taking your own team to the TT. How good does that feel, knowing that you're in charge of your own destiny, really, and taking some of the fastest bikes around this course?
It honestly feels really good. Like, honestly, it's... I'm not going to say it necessarily did at the beginning. At the beginning, it was a shock and definitely a daunting prospect. But after a while, and with all the support of Pete and working together with Pete and the whole 810 racing team, it's the more time goes on, the more I just get like an incredibly good feeling about it, and all the people we have involved are really good people, and they're not only like really good mechanics and really good guys at running the team and good in that sense, but they're our friends, you know, mine and Pete's mates. So when we go racing, we want to have a good time as well, have a laugh and enjoy it. And we all know that a happy racer is a fast racer, so we're hoping to give that sort of vibe to it. It's where we can all enjoy our racing to the maximum, you know, to enjoy it as much as possible. And then, I think to win a race as the team owner, co-team owner, and the rider would be something really cool.
I wonder how many times that's happened.
Do you think he'd be equally as happy when his other rider wins for him on their bike? Are we going to get an honest answer?
I know you tease me.
Yeah, how do they then say, well, you're not having that part because I want that part? You don't get to do that, do you? You both have to share the parts.
If you want to speak your say now, then we'll obviously ask Pete later. Yeah. And then we'll have a way up.
Pete can't hear you, so say what you want.
Yeah, I think Pete said basically he's happy with second, he's happy enough because he thinks I'm going to win him anyway. So
he's won enough. He's won enough, hasn't he?
Yeah, enough. Yeah,
it's your time.
For
the greater good of the team.
Davey, I want to sit here and chat all night, but we can't because we need to get the next man on. But, ladies and gentlemen, once again, reigning senior TT champion. Everybody make some noise for Davey Todd! Cheers, mate. He's a good egg. Hey?
What do you think Pete's going to have to say about that one?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to intro him?
No, I'm a bit nervous still.
Try it. Go and have a go while I do this drink.
Can we have this year's second place finisher to Davey Todd?
I mean, that was not bad. This is what I was going to go with. By our next guest's high standards, TT 2024 was, I'd say, below par for him. He still came out with a win. He's still fastest man ever around the TT course, and he joined Mike Hailwood on 14 TT wins, and that he would consider not a great TT.
That sets a bit of a level, to be honest.
Doesn't it just? Let's get him out. Everybody, the fastest man around this island. It is Peter Hickman. Pete.
How are we doing?
Oh, yes, come on. Oh, that was tight. Pete, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. How are you guys?
Was there a bigger cheer for Pete or Davey?
By any chance, did you have any earplugs in for the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes? Or?
Funnily enough, no.
All right, before we get on to that chat, let's take a look back.
Oh, brilliant, thanks.
Unfortunately, we have to. There were some good points and there were some bad points. Now, if you spoke to 99% of that TT grid, they would have taken the results that you had. They would have lapped it up. But, in all honesty, it wasn't a great TT for you, if you don't mind me saying.
No, I don't mind you saying it at all. Yeah, it was not the sort of TT that I was looking forward to. But, and I've said this in some other interviews recently as well, I had 4 unbelievable years that were probably more than anyone would ever expect, including myself, particularly 2022 and 2023, where I won 4 in a week, both of them years back to back, which is pretty phenomenal in itself anyway. I was probably due a bit of a mediocre year by my standards and something not to go right. You know, I've had a lot of good luck in the last few years. Things have kind of gone my way. Not always, but a lot of the time they have. And when I've had some bad luck, I've still managed to get some good luck somewhere else and it's kind of equaled itself out. So I think 2024 was obviously the little blip for me. And if a blip is a win, 3 second places and to walk off into Ginger Hall pub for a couple of pints after sliding down the road, I think I'll take that.
Well, talking of that crash, we've actually got it. So
of course, yeah.
Talk us through it. Talk us through it. Explain it to people that are listening. We're turning off of Sulby Straight here, over Sulby Bridge.
Sulby Bridge, and I've got a pit board on my right hand side there.
His fault.
Yeah, it looks quite fast there, doesn't it?
You can't even try and describe what's happening because it all happens so fast.
Yeah, it happens so fast. Yeah, basically, obviously, me and Davey were really tight. That's James Hillier just going past. I just passed James, I think just before Quarry Bend, so he was quite lucky, really. But, oh, there I am, look. Come pick my bike up. I cleaned my mess up, at least. That's good, isn't it?
So, after that, what are your thoughts here? Are you glad that you got up and walked away, or
I wasn't even
annoyed?
thinking about it. No, I was annoyed, yeah, I was super annoyed. But me and Davey were really, really close on lap 1. There was only a couple of seconds between us. Had my pit board. I did a 35.5 standing start after not a great TT for me at all. And I knew I was fast. I knew I was on the money with it. The bike was feeling good. I was feeling good. I was really having a good dig at it, as we would call as a rider. And between the end of the first lap and the end of sector 2, I managed to actually pull quite a few seconds on Dave. I think we pulled it up to kind of 8 seconds. So 6 seconds in 2 sectors is quite a good margin, in particularly with what we've all been racing against each other recently. We're talking half a second to a second has been a big margin in some places. So to get 6 in a couple of sectors was obviously quite a big chunk. And I'd taken quite a lot of risk to do that. You know, I'd really pulled the stop out in a few places and was really kind of taking a bit of risk to try and break Davey, to be totally honest. And I got to a point, got the pit board, and it said +8. All of a sudden, I was like, right, you've taken a load of risk to get here and to make that little break. Let's just chill out. And this is what a lot of people struggle to get their head around. The reason I fell off is because I backed off too much. I didn't load the front tyre hard enough, particularly on the Dunlop tyres, which I'm a really big fan of. The front tyre wants pushing all the time. If you don't push it, it doesn't work. And I basically just didn't grab enough brake and push the front hard enough into the left. and it's a really horrible corner anyway, that Ginger Hall corner. It's off camber, it's really bumpy, it's actually got a bump right in the middle of it. And if you see it from the outside, I've actually took the front way earlier than when I actually hit the floor, and that's just because I've not loaded it, it's lost the grip, and I'm already gone before I even go into the corner, and I hung onto it for as long as I could to, hopefully I'd do an unbelievable Marc Marquez moment and it come back. And B, because I can see a flat wall looking at me, and I thought I do not want to hit that flat on. So I tried to hold it as long as I could to make as much of the corner as I could to hopefully glance off the wall rather than hit it square. And it's amazing how much of that sort of stuff goes through your brain when you watch how fast that was. Yeah, I know. I remember having all that thought train going, all right, I'm going to crash, but how am I going to make this the best it can be for me? And yeah, it kind of summed up my TT, really. I think I even said it. If you had the sound on then, you'd have heard me say, I think that about sums up my TT as I picked the bike back up. But.
Yeah, and I think you spoke earlier about having luck, and when you probably got home and realised what you got away with, you would take that all day long. Sometimes the luck turns into winning a race, but to have the luck to not get injured in that moment, and even be in the track and James maybe hit you or take James off, there's a lot of factors that you got really, really lucky with in that same...
100%, and genuinely, like, I was a bit beaten up anyway going into TT 2024. I'd crashed 3 times at Alton Park, one of which was not my fault, but anyway, that's just the way bike racing is. I came away from that crash there with not even one bruise, nothing. I literally just managed to push the bike away, hit the wrecked cell barrier, and I was absolutely fine, and had a couple of Guinnesses thanks to the landlord at Ginger Hall.
Did you pay for them?
No, I didn't pay for them, even better. I didn't have my wallet with me, funnily enough.
Do you feel that start at Alton kind of set in motion a year that wasn't? Do you believe in things like that? Having a bit of bad luck is going to set you up for the rest of the year, or you seem like someone who can push that thing to the side?
It is, isn't it? Like, life's life. Yeah. You know, I went to Alton Park. I was really strong at Navarra, actually. My races didn't go particularly well at Navarra, but I qualified second row. I was 6th, I believe, in Navarra. My races didn't quite go to plan, but I was actually quite fast. I was one of the stronger riders. Came to the Alton Park weekend. We had another test, 2-day test before the event. Was super strong on day 1. I was 5th. Did one of my fastest ever laps around Alton Park, feeling really good. And then we went out on the start of day 2, and my handlebar snapped going into turn 1, which I've been racing for 20-something years now, and I've never had a handlebar snap on me. I'm going to touch some wood somewhere.
Does MDF count? Is MDF?
It's probably not even real wood, is it? But I had a handlebar snap on me into turn 1 at Alton Park, and Alton Park's not one of the places you want to fall off, particularly turn 1. You know, I hit the barrier at probably 80-odd mile an hour and damaged myself. But no, I don't believe that that started the bad run of form, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a bad run of form. There's no two ways about it. I'm not going to shy away from it, but I am only human at the end of the day. You know, I can make mistakes, and I'm not always going to be perfect as much as I tried to be.
You set such a strong precedent in those years, like you said, finishing on the podium so often, 4 back-to-back. You know, everybody just expected Pete Hickman to always be at the top winning.
You think you come in that yourself expecting, after having 2 years of winning 4 TTs, does that come normal? You think I'm going there and that's what I should, not expect in arrogance, but that's what you've done before, so there's no reason why I can't just do that again.
Yeah, and as a racer, you know yourself, you always want more, don't you? So you're like, well, I've done that, but I want to better it all the time. Even if you're doing the same, it's not good enough. You want to always try and better yourself, or at least I do anyway. And yeah, I don't know if I was necessarily expecting to always try and win at least 4 in a week. I mean, bear in mind, there's only a handful of people that have ever won 4 TTs in a week, and I'm fortunate that I'm one of them few people. But yeah, I wouldn't say expecting it, but for sure, when you've had it for the last couple of years in particular, and even in 19, I won 3 in 19, had a bike problem in the senior when I was leading by 19 seconds or something, you know, that should have been a 4 times in a week as well. So I guess there was always that little bit in the back of your mind thinking, well, you know, I'm good for a few wins, but hey, bike racing.
You got 1.
I got 1.
You got 1. So let's close the chapter on 24. We don't carry that with us into 25, do we?
I hope not.
When you get on the bike, first time down Glen Crutchery Road, all that's put to bed, and you're focusing solely on going forward. We just spoke to Davey. There's no secret that there's a brand new team around, 810 Racing, co-owned. Davey did say, I am the owner, didn't he? He said 100% owner, and then he remembered, and then he was like, oh yeah, Pete's involved somewhere. I think he does the finances.
It was something like owner/winner.
Yeah. The
current winner.
Yeah.
What does it feel like, 1, owning a team, 2, owning a team with another rider, 3, owning it with a rider that more than likely you're going to have to go up against and fight for wins with?
Do you know what? It's been an interesting thing from outside. I've never really thought about it too much from being in the position that I'm in. But I've got a race against Davey, whether he's in the same team with me or not. You know, it doesn't make any difference. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be surprising for probably quite a few people how well we're going to get on. We already are getting on really, really well. We were mates anyway. And actually, I think our friendship's just got stronger. In the last few months in particular, it's really kind of going in the right direction. We're calling it a brand new team, but it's not really a brand new team. The people that are there are all people that we've worked with in the past. Darren Jones, team manager, was team manager for FHO, was team manager with Smiths and even GB Moto, Kawasaki before then, you know, so it's a long time that he's been with me. A lot of the crew that's with me as well. I got Brownie and Chris, got Pete Clifford and Pete Martin doing tyres and stuff. It's my crew really that's been the same for a good few years now, and the same on Davey's side, you know. He's got Andy Perks, which is new to him, who's been part of our team for a little bit, but then all of his guys that he's had with him, Stewie and Mike, and you know, it's really, I think Davey said it earlier, like it's a friendly team where everyone's mates and we all get on, and it's a really good atmosphere already, even though we've not properly started yet. And I think it's a really good thing, you know. I think it's different for riders to be owning the team, particularly in such a big way. It doesn't really happen in our sport so much. In Supercross, it happens quite a lot. The rider is the team owner and has charge of their own destiny. In our sport, whether it be TT or BSB or whatever, it's not really something that happens very often, if at all. Maybe it's the start of new things. You know, Michael does it probably the most out of anyone. But yeah, we'll see.
So the big thing for people looking, I'm as intrigued as everyone sitting in the audience. So normally if someone starts the TT week bad, or say you had a good start to the week and Davey was struggling, you'd spend a few days trying to figure out why they're going better, or you don't know what their setting is. You're going to have each other's data.
Yeah, he's going to just open a laptop and go, oh, look, it's there.
So is that fully going to get shared? You're obviously on the same suspension, same electronics, everything's on the bike, same tyres. Davey's running Dunlops as well?
No, actually. That's the only difference between us for the TT.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. Apart from normal things like where you want your rear brake or handlebars and footrest positions, our biggest difference will be that I run on Dunlops and he'll be running on Metzler.
So for the data, that is
it is a bit of a difference, particularly on tyre choice even. Obviously, you know yourself, the biggest change you'll ever make to a motorcycle is what tyres you put onto it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes the biggest difference. It's the one thing that sticks you to the floor. So that there is that bit of difference, but with everything else, it's going to be identical.
Can I touch on the fact that not only have you got your own race team, but we've also got PHR racing as well? Got a few of the riders in tonight, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Who's in here?
I can't see out there, the lights are so bright, but we've got Pierre here and Baz de Burrell.
Bonjour. Oh no, Barry. What does Barry speak?
Now Ben was slagging off French people earlier, now Pierre. Sorry.
Oh, they're over there. I can see them in the corner.
Pierre, we were only joking. I really like you, mate. Thanks for coming.
But also, we got Mitch Reese over there as well,
yeah,
who's going to be riding the Malenko by Paget's, as well as Baz Burrell.
Yeah, newcomer in my team for the first time. Yeah. So
I'm pretty excited to see how Baz is going on. Give us a little bit of. Give us a little bit. How's he getting on with it?
Good, actually. Already, we've been away testing in Spain a little bit. Typical Baz style, kind of not ridden a 1000cc bike for I don't know how long, and he ended up at Almeria, I think 0.2 behind me, which made me feel like I needed to pull my finger out a little bit more. But true Bazza style. You know, I've been friends with Barry now for 20-something years. We've been teammates in Brit Superbikes before, and I think people also forget, you know, Baz has led BSB races and finished on the BSB podium. You know, he knows how to ride a bike.
His level is high.
Yeah, his level is very high. So for him to be jumping on the Stocker, I think it's going to be good for our little team as well. He's got his own sponsor coming with him, Halliwell Jones BMW, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be different. I've got not just one rider now in Pierre, because Pierre is the only other person that I've ran on the roads. Yeah. To now have two, and one being a newcomer is obviously quite a big change and a bit more of a challenge for the little PHR team.
Good thing Baz is totally agreed to speak French for Pierre. So if anybody sees Baz at the TT, just speak French to him, and he'll completely...
Baz is from the north. He could be speaking French. Who knows? Who knows what that guy's saying?
Very true.
Yeah. Right, Pete. We're going to let you go. I feel like we should acknowledge the fact that there's a massive space there, but we're not going to. We're not going to say.
We're not going to say anything about it. Why there's a space there?
No, we're not. Shall we or not?
I mean, we could do.
Well, people will be disappointed, but...
Yeah, we're going to be... Well, they're disappointed anyway. They probably looked at the space and... Well,
and thought, that'd be a nice place to put a
really
motorbike.
nice liveried bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only...
It was there earlier. We just got told we're not allowed to keep it.
If only...
Well,
yeah.
What actually happened, Pete brought the bike out, but the team boss, Davey, said it wasn't allowed.
Yeah, Pete's number on it.
Davey took the bike back again, so... There's already been a bit of authority stamp there. So
overruled.
I didn't want to say that and embarrass Pete, but we used to waffle and I thought there was no real...
No, exactly. Well, we were going to have a little exclusive unveiling.
You're going to have a nice
bike.
exclusive. Unfortunately, one of the sponsor contracts is not quite signed enough.
But give it a week and that bike is going to be out there to
Do you know what's probably going to happen? It'll be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. They'll be like, yep, you're all good to show everyone.
And then the videos will come out and we'll be able to see it all across social media. So we will get to see it soon.
What's everybody doing in the morning?
What, keep this place?
Yeah, we'll just stay here all night.
Yeah.
It's haunted.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Right, anyway, we're going to let you go and we're going to let these people go and get another beverage. Everyone make some noise for Peter Hickman.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Pete. Right. Lee's off to stand in the foyer and try and sell some protein shakes. So feel free to go and meet him. Sign a what is it? Y food bottle? Is that what you?
Unbelievable. Please don't laugh at his crap jokes anymore.
It wasn't even mine. It was Ed's. He wrote it in the script.
Unbelievable.
Right, we're off for 15 minutes break. Go and get your drinks. Go and use the toilets and the facilities if need be, and we'll be back with 3 more special guests after the break. Thank you very much. Woo! Lee, do you know where we are right now?
I've got absolutely no idea, but it looks like it wasn't built yesterday.
It wasn't. This is the Gaiety Theatre and Opera House. Ooh. Whose first time is it in here? I have never been in here. How beautiful is it? It's stunning, isn't it? 125 years old, it's going to celebrate its 125th anniversary. This is your link where you congratulate and say hello to all the marshals, Lee.
Oh, right. No.
Where are all the marshals, Lee?
I think they're all sat up at the back, are they? Can we give them a... No? Oh, who's done me there?
Before we came on, we said, where are the marshals? Are you all down here? Right, give us a cheer and a wave.
Oh, here as well.
Everybody.
Oh.
Right, without the TT, this doesn't happen. And that's over there. So huge congratulations and thank you for all your hard work and effort.
Unfortunately, I have used the marshals a few times. So I'm just going to get that in there before you make any...
I think these boys used them as well in not last year, the year before, didn't they? Shall we get them on? The first Manx winners in 10 years. Everybody make some noise for your local heroes, Callum and Ryan Crowe! Hello, young man. I can't stand up. I can't stand up, I'm strapped. Firstly, congratulations in order, eh?
Oh, yeah.
What's been happening in your house over the past couple of days?
Oh, just got a new daughter.
A new one, brand new one?
Brand new one.
Well, then, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Woohoo! He doesn't realise what hell he's in for. That's the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
I had a boy first time.
1 easy, 2 absolute nightmare, mate.
They do say if you had the second one first, you wouldn't have the second one, so... Just saying.
Yeah. How are you, boys? You all right?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah. Polite boys. I'm really good, thank you.
I heard loads of people ask us how you were, so I didn't want to ask again.
It's decent, that.
I'm good.
I'm impressed by that cheer. I honestly think they deserve another cheer. That is the power of Manx residency. Dean's got no chance, I think.
You do me a favour, you man. Speak up a little bit, because everybody at the back wants to hear you as well. Is that all right? Yeah. Like that. Like that, but just talk normal.
I haven't got the mic like the training last time.
See that mic? Yeah, that's... No, don't do that. Well, just talk up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm on it now.
Because everybody's here to see you. No one cares about us, but they can hear us. But we want to hear from you.
Sorry.
Yeah?
You've literally, as if the lad's not nervous enough, you've just given him a right telling off in front of everybody here that knows him.
It's not a telling off, it's just a friendly word of advice.
It's just him paying us back.
You're trying to talk into it now, aren't you?
Flogged him at golf last year.
You are?
Yeah, you're just upset about golf last year.
Mate, I looked great at golf last year. If anybody
You
hadn't seen
didn't
it
do
5
great,
minutes
though.
with, I looked great at golfing. We went golfing, hit a few golf balls. You two are absolutely shit at golf, but great in a cycle, thank God.
I suppose that's all right, isn't it?
How come you always try and embarrass us?
I'm not!
There you are.
You just told me I was rubbish at golf.
What are you looking at me for? I'm not saying anything.
He's on our side.
No, he's right.
If you were playing now, you'd be backing me up.
These are the stars of the show.
Right, let's make them the stars of the show. First time winners in TT 2024. We spoke to Dean, we spoke to Ben, we spoke to Davey. Obviously, it's fresher in Davey's mind than anybody else that first TT win. But you won your first TT at the same time, TT 2024. What point did you know you'd win? That you'd won? What was it feeling like coming up the return road, coming into pit lane to get that victory?
On the... I can't remember, it was 3 laps, race 1. It was on the 3rd lap, coming out of the hairpin. I thought, like, you're actually, if you hold it together, you're actually going to win a TT here. And it was like, that was the only instance where I thought of it. And then I just brought it home after the hairpin. After I spoke to myself, because I was, like, full concentration and went as fast as I could, really. And then after the hairpin, it was like, roll it back. So.
Are we talking Ramsey hairpin or are we talking Governors?
Ramsey hairpin.
All right, okay,
yeah, Ramsey hairpin. I come into Ramsey hairpin and, yeah.
This is it.
How many noises did you hear on the way from Ramsey
Oh, it's
Hair?
unbelievable. Yeah, when you come out of that, like on the, what's it called, close to the hedges, that flow state they were talking about, it is true. And when you come out of it, you talk to yourself, and then going up towards, like, up to Mountain Mile, you hear the engine, and you're just like, oh, please hold together. You know, it's getting a hide, and it's like, it shouldn't be revving to what it's revving to, but...
And it must be worse being a passenger, because you're not even in control of that throttle anymore, are you? You're like, just...
I remember coming through the bungalow, and I always thought in my head, he's going to roll off. He will roll off to ease the engine. And I just heard him revving it a little bit, and I was like, what the...
Sorry, we couldn't hear you at the back there. What was that?
In my helmet, I was like, fucking roll off. Just ease it off a little bit here. But when we come round the Craig Bar and you just come round the right hander, you get tucked back in. I'm speaking to that machine and praying to God that it just holds together and you're realising what you're about to achieve. It's different for the likes of the Solo Boys, but to do what we do and work as such a team and then do it with your brother is a fantastic experience. And yeah, it was one hell of a feeling on that circuit.
That deserves a round of applause. I think it must be double special, obviously, for you, because you have each other and that feeling, but for everybody else that comes to race here, we go somewhere else, you know what I mean? A lot of our family doesn't come here, or friends, and obviously some close people come, but you literally go and do this every day and then go back to your own house where you normally live, whatever, see all the same people. So, like, in between the two wins, like, how hard is that to not be positive, but to not go absolutely off the rails? Or, you know, I'm not saying that that's a Manx thing to do, but it's been known before that, yeah, so how did that feel in between?
It's one of them, when you did what we did on the race 1, it was, don't get me wrong, we wanted to go out and celebrate, but then we both said to each other, there's no drinking, you know, don't go out and celebrate it until the job's finished. And we always had race 2 to come to then, and then when race 2 was on, then we left the paddock in a bit of a state then after that. But,
how much of a state?
Oh, Chris, it was I don't know how to put it, but
because you can't remember.
Not really much of it now. It was, we left in a state, you know, woke up in the motorhome probably about 11 o'clock in the morning, and your head's absolutely pounding, and it's all worth it, isn't it? You know,
I'd say you weren't every pint that you drank in that evening. You were.
Have you paid for a pint since?
Oh yeah.
Not saying you're tight or anything, but
I buy rounds, really. I'm the opposite. Yeah, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, but you must have got a few drinks bought for you since then.
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
I remember waking up in the morning and I'm a big clean freak. You see, everything's got to be clean. Everything's got to be like, I'll wake up and instantly think the oven's a mess. So I must have had about 5 bin bags of cans, and I'm back and forth, and all the teams have their ovens open. I'm thinking, oh my god, I feel like a right fucking, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a hell of a night and a hell of an experience.
I was asleep whilst he was doing that.
Yeah.
To be fair, you did all the hard work.
I did.
Literally just sits there.
I'm going to apologise on his behalf again because...
again, you're trying to embarrass me?
Yeah.
What is this?
We've already spoke earlier on that the passenger is 90% of the outfit.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. I have 90% of that control.
Yeah. Right. Give him 90% of the control. Don't do anything.
Okay.
Just
Well, I
let him do it
said
all.
this the other day. Somebody said something to us about going away racing. I said, oh, I'm not going. And they went, oh, well, what are you going to do? And I said, well, he's not going to sit on the start line in the back of my bike with no driver in it, is he? But no, there's no, like Ben said with passengers, it's so important to have the right passenger on the back of your bike. It's like recently I put somebody on the back of my bike and they're not a bad passenger, but trying to ride my bike the way I ride my bike with Callum on, it was just impossible. Like, it wouldn't turn in, it wouldn't brake the same, it was just like, I come back in and I said to Callum, I said, you know, I'm never doing that again. It's like, it plays with you a little bit. It's
just like a relationship, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get the wrong woman and it's an absolute nightmare.
It's exactly, yeah.
For her,
yeah.
But get the right woman and it's just harmony.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever been in the back or had to go in the back? No, or?
Well, not racing.
That wasn't even a joke. That was... No,
What is with this going on about all this sort of stuff up here?
Because
we're not into all that, you know.
No. I heard, and I don't know if it was Ben or if it was maybe even Dean's dad had said to me that it gives you an understanding as a driver, like what like I've been unlucky enough to be in the back and it scared the absolute crap out of me. But like the force that them guys go through is unbelievable. So I didn't know if you'd maybe had a little taste just to.
I've had a little go in them. The one that really did shock me the most was a couple of years ago at Mallory Park. We were doing taxi rides, and I was doing taxi rides with people, and Gary Bryan was on his long bike with the big motor in it, and I come in, I was bored really. I was like, you know, just tooting around, and I did about 4 or 5 taxi rides, like different people on the back, just taking them around. And I parked my bike up, and I just said to Gary, come on, let's go and have a play. I'll jump on the back of your bike, and we'll just go. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, let's just go and have a play. So. Yeah, good job he pulled in on the 3rd lap, so I was going to tap up. I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. This is like, I couldn't do this, but it does give you. It didn't really give me a perspective of how to control the bike, but I was just hanging on for dear life. Really, just one of them. I didn't enjoy it. It's a good job he pulled in because I didn't have to tap then.
Yeah, as much as I take the mic, we know what you do. It's been spoken about time and again, and there is no passenger on there having a free ride, especially when you're doing 120 mile an hour on the back of that thing.
You can tell when you're onto them paces, and that's not taking any. Like, I'm not joking when I say that. Even from when we did the 118 in practice to the 120 in the race 2, you know you're on that pace, and there's certain corners where I thought, oh, this is going to be quick lap this. And you know when you're on it, when you catch Ben on the road, you just instantly know this is quick. Mm-hmm. And to be able to hang on to it, it was hard. I'm not going to say it wasn't I'm not going to say it was easy. It was really hard. And it takes a lot of training to be able to hang on to them things.
I think that's where the link of being brothers comes into it. Although there's no telepathy, you know when he's starting to press on, and there's no exchange of words of, hey, hang on, because we're going fast here. It is a matter of just, you know exactly what he's starting to do, and you have to react to that, and you start to put your presence into it.
Well, we're brothers at the end of the day, and I have over 110% trust. If he thinks he can go into that corner that fast, it's going to go round it, and I have that trust in him. And I'm just going to do my job and make it go round there as smooth as it can. So that's, I mean, Bruce in the pudding, Ben and Tom, how many years were they at top 4?
Yeah.
14-time TT winners, first men to do 120. Proof's in the pudding at the end of the day.
So you're not going anywhere anytime soon. Second TT win comes only a matter of days afterwards. We touched on it when you said you didn't go drinking. This is the footage of you coming into the winners' enclosure this time. How different did that feel to the first one? And what we're about to see is who came in to the winners' enclosure afterwards. So how did that second one feel first? As good? Better?
It felt, to me, the race felt good, but to have Molly come in after it as a child, I used to have sleepovers at Molly's and, you know, in his garage tinkering with him, and, you know, it's just...
Bikes.
Yeah, not that way. Whoa. This is all about professional racing this stage. It's nothing to do with what you are all thinking. It's just disgusting.
This podcast is absolutely crazy. Everyone's got a dirty mind in this room.
I didn't even start this.
You did it.
To be honest, I've got to actually take a bit of credit. You didn't actually go first, it was them.
Yeah.
It was them, right? Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's to have, like, we always, to watch our old man racing, and him and Molly just smashing it out together all the time, and then when you get into racing yourself, you're looking at Ben Birchall and Tom and stuff, and you're idolising them, and to stand with them both.
So we can still see the pictures, right? On that podium, Dave Molyneux, you guys, and Ben Birchall. Do some quick maths. How many TT wins is that between you?
I'm not that good.
Someone shout out.
A lot.
14, 17 and 2.
Don't look at me.
Someone out there must know that quick.
33.
33. 33?
Yeah.
It's about 33, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't hear anyone out there.
My point being, that is a phenomenal podium. You guys are at the start of your career. Ben's still as determined as ever. You've got Molly going out on a high. And with all due respect to Molly, like, to have done it the way he did, with you boys winning your first, him getting the podium for his last, like, such a poignant moment.
61st race start, that was.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Some going in it.
Even to have that as a photograph, you know, and you're definitely going to go on to win a lot more TTs, but to have that and they're two really big figures in sidecar racing, to be there and you're stood on the top step in between the two of them.
Yeah, it is really. I mean, you had three of the biggest surnames in sidecar racing. You had the Crowes, Molyneux, Birchall, all up on one thing. I don't think, well, it's never been done, because obviously, but to have them, just to feel that moment with all them great race competitors is, I don't think we'll ever experience that feeling again, as good as that.
And it's not like you were on the third step looking up to those boys. You were on the top step. You'd beaten these greats. You've kind of taken the first step in what is going to be a long, illustrious career at the TT. Let's move into this year real quick before we finish up. I've heard the outfit's going really well. You two boys look like you're in good shape, apart from having the young one on the way, or having the young one now.
He's not going to sleep from now to the TT, bless him. So he's going to...
Yeah.
I've got a motorhome, haven't I?
You're going to move into the motorhome now?
Yeah, I'll just go back there and stay in the motorhome. No, it's not that bad, to be fair. You know, my missus is so good with the kids. It's when it comes up to TT week, she'll even tell me to stay up the paddock or anything like that. And to be fair, I've been blessed with kids that do sleep through. You know, they're not up screaming and shouting all night. And you know, even the baby, the newborn baby, it's dead quiet. It's like I was waiting for the first like scream or whinge at night time. It's still not happened yet. It's like
touch that wood again
quickly. Well, the floor's more wood than that, is like you were saying. So, no, there's something else I want to point out with that podium there. I don't know if it's ever happened or not before, but there was, so each bike that was on the podium was also running, so it was all Kel Properties on each bike.
Yep.
So, you know, that I don't know if that's ever happened before either, as three main sponsors of Cal Property used to be 1, 2 and 3.
Tell you what, he's good with the
You're
sponsors.
just- yeah,
this
are you
lad,
just
isn't he?
trying to- are you just trying to plug
That
your
was
sponsor?
naturally just swept in.
Flowing out.
Just need a banner up now for Cal Properties.
Are they,
It's not up, is it?
are they sponsoring you this year?
Yeah, Cal Properties, yeah, again, yeah.
What coincidence that was.
How are you boys feeling for it? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you feeling good and ready to go?
It's funny, we said after 24, we said, oh, bloody hell, it might be a nice easy winter because, you know, we might not have to do so many changes to the outfit. But then you go back to the drawing board and then suddenly this drawing board becomes massive when you come up with all these ideas and you've got great people behind you. And you think, yeah, it's a busy winter. It's another busy winter. And we've just literally got back from VHR performance with the outfit. So we're very happy with that, and we're just on with some aerodynamic work now, which we're looking very forward to. And then it's Glen Clutchy Road time.
Nice.
Sounds like 121 mile an hour to me.
It does to me as well, mate. It does.
You don't start that with us.
So, lads, well, Ben's had it for God knows how many years.
Keep it with Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll wait till the end.
We don't want that.
I've got a feeling that I'm going to be chatting to you boys on that fan park a couple of times over that race week. As much as I'd love to stay and chat much longer, I do love you, you know.
Do you?
I do, I really do. You more than him. But, I'm kidding. Listen, everybody make some noise for the local heroes. Ryan and Callum Crowe. Cheers, boys, thank you.
See you there, boys.
Right then. So, we've had everybody up on the stage that won a TT last year. But last year's TT was arguably about one man, not Lee Johnston. He came into 2024 on 25 TT wins, and it seemed the inevitable was going to happen at some point. But as we know, with the TT, nothing ever comes easy.
2024, the year of the bull who would become the goat, where we witnessed history and the coronation of a new king of the mountain. But the road to glory is never straightforward, never easy, and never without an unexpected twist or turn. Another Supersport title to start, matching a legend at a canter, and standing on the top step for a 26th time, the weight of expectation finally lifted. What next? The stage was set, finally poised for a crowning moment over 6 grueling laps. But no, chasing destiny and with glory within his grasp, only for the smallest of mistakes to see victory slip away. Agonising, despairing, devastating. But for the man that's endured the ultimate pain, he knows it's not how you fall, but how you get back up and rise once again. Redemption, and with it, a lifetime's ambition fulfilled. It's one thing to match a legend, it's something else entirely to surpass one. 27, 28, 29. One man who did it his way. Now unrivaled and undisputed as the greatest of all time.
How's about that? Does it make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up?
I think everybody might know who it is.
I think they might do. But if you need to know who it is 29 times TT winner, the GOAT himself. It is Michael Dunlop. Stand up, stand up. Michael Dunlop, stand up. Oh wait, were you already stood up? It's Michael Dunlop, for God's sake. You stand up.
These people are still laughing at your crap jokes.
Shut up. Michael, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not so bad. Not so
Good.
bad.
This is the first time I've seen you. Normally we bump into each other a couple of times during these events. and we get an idea of how you're feeling. But literally since the last TT, I've not seen you. So what's been going down?
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to. Well, not that I wasn't supposed to be here tonight.
You were supposed to.
I was supposed to be here, and then I wasn't able to come when things changed a little bit. So it was a lastminute.com sort of thing. So we just come in today quickly and back out in the morning again quickly.
How long have we got you for? 5 minutes?
About 12 seconds.
Right, you got any questions?
No way. It's all on you this one.
Like we've done with everybody else, let's reflect back. You've had a year to think about it. The year before that, you probably did nothing but think about getting to that record. Now it's achieved. Weight off your shoulders? Do you feel a little more relaxed in your racing, in life in general?
Yeah, obviously, after 23, it was a long 365 days to come back to obviously try and achieve something that was hanging over my head. And then obviously 24 happened, and I spent 365 days being pissed off about the first bike race. So it's what a gain to break the record of. It's drained me not having 30 instead of. But here, listen, we all look for the
never happy.
Never happy sort of thing. But it's took a lot of weight off my shoulders just on a TT front. A lot of people have always. It's funny. People's asked me what I thought. I've always wanted to just run TTs. That's the thing. But not everybody in life has set out for a goal and actually achieved their goal. As in, my pure ambition was to become at some point in my career the greatest TT rider of all time. That was always. It was never any other ambition. I've never really done BSB or not. I've tattered at it, but it was never. It was always just TT related. So to something that you and your family have spent their lives, lost their lives trying to achieve. I got to achieve it. And it's not everybody. Everybody sometimes pretends to set out for a goal, but I honestly did set out for the goal, and to achieve it was a massive lift.
So your goal from starting your motorcycling career was always to be the greatest TT rider? Because we had this discussion earlier, and we were trying to work out at what point did you look at the numbers, look at how young you were, how many you were winning, and thought, well, that starts to become achievable. Because a lot of people thought that it was never going to get anywhere near after kind of John almost got there.
Yeah, it's more, obviously road racing was my thing, obviously, and then obviously the pinnacle of road racing is, is the TT. So obviously I started road racing as soon as I could possibly get onto the roads and do it, But obviously Joey's target stood for 24 years. It's a massive achievement to, for that to stand for so long. But it's like everything in life, records will be broken, and someday mine will go too. So it's, it is something that's, but the main thing for me was to at least achieve that goal of being at the top.
Is that what drives you now? So like you said there now about your record will go. I don't honestly believe that, but
I don't think it will.
If it would have been easy for you to go, I've done it now, and the motivation would have gone, but now the motivation is to try and get as many as possible, or what is the motivation right now?
It was quite weird. Obviously the motivation was to achieve, and it was, people genuinely thought that after I achieved it, I was just going to ride by the pit lane straight into the truck and drive home, and probably the only person that probably in their mind would have done that. I was in my head, I'll just piss this whole job off and right, I'm going home. Yeah. But there was still more in me. I knew there was more in, there was more in my tank, and I knew that there's more still to be achieved, and I still think there's more to be achieved in myself. I think I'm faster now than I ever was. The pace has got hotter, but I feel like I'm going good. Last year again, as I said, the sort of bike race pissed me off. So I feel like everybody had ripped me off that I'm not a sort of bike rider anymore, and the sort of bikes were over me. So I've proved last year by breaking the sort of bike lap record that they're still breaking it too with nothing to gain. So I feel like hopefully there's some more in me.
Can I? I've got this piece of paper because hell if I can remember all this. From becoming the greatest of all time, life's changed a little bit. Would you say? Like, are you recognised more often than you ever have been in places where you wasn't normally recognised?
And at a personal level, it hasn't. I haven't changed as a.
Of course not.
I'm still a knob. You know what I mean? But
well, I didn't want to say it.
I'll just saved you saying I said it. So, but You know, yeah, yes, you know, it's obviously of the airport this morning, people recognise you. You know, I just suppose in Isle of Man when you arrive, people, even the pilot or the pilot of the plane was waving at the window. You know, you just small things like that is obviously, but obviously the TT has come to something worldwide now, really.
Let's have a look at some of this here. Since breaking the record, your achievements have been honoured in a number of ways. So you had a reception at Stormont in the Northern Ireland Assembly. You were honoured at the Goodwood Festival with a balcony reception. The only other motorcyclist to have that is? Valentino Rossi. Honoured at the Guild of Motoring Writers. Royal Automobile Club are wanting to honour you. MCN Rider of the Year. Some other things that you've got to do. Invited out to the Formula One by Alpine. You went to Rossi's Ranch. Like you say, you've not changed as a person, but life must have certainly felt like it's changed.
Yeah, you know, it's fortunate to get to go to different events that I've never, you know, and probably in any other scheme of things would have been invited. I've got obviously the ranch. I was horrific at it. I had no pace, but you know, the invite alone to be involved in the circle. Goodwood done it was a fantastic. Like they landed at my house in a helicopter. You know, stuff. You know, yeah. I got the chance to do things probably that I normally probably been invited in the past, but never really took the opportunity to go. But just we've been so busy, and you know, there's things I would like to go to. I've never got to GPs yet, and anything like that. But just life, you know, it goes by so quick, and probably should take more of the opportunities to go to. But I suppose the backwardness in me. I don't really do that.
I think, like from the outside looking in, obviously being friends with William and stuff, I've known what yous have. I see it as a negative, like having your name. Everybody here probably sees it as a massive benefit. Like you maybe had better bikes as young kids or had more experience, but the pressure that comes with that, do you know what I mean? Having that uncle, having that dad, so the expectancy straight away. So it's easy for people to say now that you've had this pressure, like counting up, but that's been there since the first day you've actually ever rode a motorbike, really. So it's not really been any different for you.
No, I think, you know, pressure always has been, but the pressure never really come from the outside. My dad always, you know, taught us first, you know, second's first loser, you know what I mean, and to achieve always at the highest level. You know, with some people with the highs probably of what, you know, my name carries, every day I have to, you know, live with the lows, because not with the highs that I got with it, you know, even, you know, when people now introduce me into different circles, it's, you know, they start off 2019 TT winner, then, you know, father was, brother was, uncle was, you know, so with what highs you get and you're being dragged with the lows, but look, that's motorsport, that's demons that I have to live with in my day-to-day life. But, you know, the ride hasn't been easy, and the motorbikes themselves, I've won on some of the best machinery that's about. I've won on some of the worst machinery that you could get your hands on. So, you know, like I've always tried to do, you know, I have done it probably my career could have done it a lot easier. You know, I've made decisions maybe that's not been the best, but in my light and my view, it was the best for me.
Yeah. So would you say now this is probably the freest you felt coming to the TT since right at the start, when there was maybe no expectation, going from that to always then expecting to win, whereas now it's obviously you want to win as many as possible, but people like Chris aren't barking in your ear every day going, you're at the limit, you know, you're nearly there.
It's obviously the main thing was they were always Joey's record, they were always plugging at it, you know. And don't get me wrong, some people wanted to see it broke, some people didn't want to see it broke, so you had negatives and positives coming every way, but at the same time, I never felt the pressure of, you know, it wasn't an ego thing to break Joey's record. I always just wanted to keep the Dunlop name. We're always a proud family of the name, so we've always just wanted to create that thing. And now I feel as much pressure now I want to win even more, just to keep going, you know what I mean, to just, like, I genuinely wouldn't become the TT unless I had an ambition to win, because, you know, it's funny how, like, I know people just love racing motorbikes, you know, it bores me not to win, you know, I don't go scrambling motocrossing trails, and, you know, I know people love going riding motorbikes, they go, no interest. You know, the
just
buzz.
Want to win.
You know, the buzz is, yes, I love riding my motorbike when I'm getting to ride, but it's the fact of the matter is to win as much as they possibly can.
Well, that's it. You were saying there you've won on some absolute junk pieces of shit and also some top machinery. 6 different manufacturers you've won on, which nobody else has. It's not like you've been in one team, you've had a team around you that's been solid for the past, 10, 15 years of your career. You've done it across the board on every kind of machine.
Yeah, and I think probably for me that's probably somebody like, I could have put myself in a better position maybe, and somebody like John who read it out for a long time with the manufacturer and created a hub around him. I've been grateful enough or thankful enough that I brought the hub with me to a degree. My mechanics have come with me mostly, and my lads, my friends that has worked with me with the motorbikes 9 times. They've been with me from, they've got the same mechanics a lot of my sponsors have had for the last 10, 12 years. So they came with me. The manufacturers didn't, to a degree, but I swap and change it. And to be honest with you, that has been a cap, because I always got that stage where people were like, he's winning because he's on that manufacturer. He's winning because that's the best motorbike. He's winning because that. So it was always sort of, I'll just ride anything then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll win anything. You know what I mean? I'll have a go.
Yeah, the other thing that Pete touched on earlier was the fact that you're one of the few people that runs your own team. I did the same when I was there, and I understand how hard that is, and all the outside factors, and both Pete and Davey are going to see what that's like this year. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big. It's not a massive plus or a massive negative, but it's the way you deal with that with the people and stuff, and how that is.
It's hard because it's for some people and it's not for some people. Like running a team there's so many factors. It's like running a hotel. You're running a whole lot of different personalities. You're having to make everything work in the one thing. I went from running the team to building my own engines, to building my own bikes, to packing lorries. Where there, people are, it's my team's not that it's completely different. Where them boys still have engine builders and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm dodging around, seeing where the finances are coming, and it's not, yourself what it's like. It's just stupid shit. Like when you're leaving. Is this booked, that booked in the van? You forgot about it. Is that right? Is money in? Is that gone? Is that then going to work with the boys ready for work? Make sure back Monday morning. It's just. But look, I've always been like that, so it's not. It's not. For me, that's natural. But sort of more other people, it's maybe. And it's tough. It's like it's fucking hard work.
Would you have it any other way though?
Look, at the end of the day, does it matter? I have to do it. You know what I mean? It's not that I have to do it. Like, it's this job. It's okay for the likes of some of the other lads, because they're good BSB riders. So the teams are still, I don't do BSB. I do the odd one, but I'm not in the championship. So they're still getting employed to do that and to go where I'm employed. We're just doing the TT, so we're the Northwest and TT. So it's not. You haven't got the same appeal factor that probably teams are obviously looking for.
What, on the other note, if your co-team owner was to beat you at the TT, would you be happy about that?
I probably wouldn't be smart. I probably would have been smart enough not to employ somebody who was going to beat me. So it's
correct answer. So 2025 then. What is the plan? Have we got a bike?
It's in a minute, no.
So just quickly, what do the boys think about that? They're all sat there with the spanners waiting, and they have no idea.
Don't get me wrong; they're under a bit of pressure, obviously, because it's hard because it's nerving that the boys they like to have the bike there, familiarise themselves, because when they go, like obviously last year was on a Honda Stalker, very clear to be seen. I've been out in a BMW as close as yesterday, so it's.
That doesn't mean you're going to turn up on a BMW?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Not with you, Michael.
Just to clarify that.
I was going to say, there's no real point asking me about motorbikes, because at the end of the day, it could be anything. It really honestly could be.
Right up until
could we pick a colour at least? Or?
I highly doubt it. You know what I mean?
Sorry, guys.
By the time we get there, whoever fair can probably buy it.
So there we go. We haven't even got an exclusive of what you're going to be riding.
And to be quite honest, I haven't even got my lorry yet, so it's really up against it. But here, listen.
You need to pull your finger out and get yourself sorted.
Listen, we're working hard for it. That is.
It sounds like you need a co-team owner.
I probably could do with that, but I'd rather not.
No chance.
He's definitely not going to beat you, though.
Well, there's that chance. Even if it was right, I wouldn't beat him. Never
That's
mind
my point,
that, right?
yeah, co-owner, perfect.
There's
He
a
brings the
difference
money
is
in.
that he won't spend money. You need somebody, the one that's going to spend
Right.
it. He has the dough, but he won't
I'm from
spend it.
Yorkshire now.
You're a Yorkshireman, a Thai Yorkshireman. Michael, listen, we could spend all night chatting, and I know that people will want to probably meet you afterwards. Just quickly before Michael leaves us, the riders, all the famous ones, probably not him, are going to be out the front, sorry, so make sure you take your posters. If there's some spare ones here, nick a few of those and get them signed. All the riders will be out. But let's make some noise for the GOAT, Michael Dunlop. Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate. I do love Michael. I do love him.
He seems pretty relaxed, or that's the aura I'm getting off him. So even with no motorbike, no truck, no co-team owner, he's ready for the TT.
He's regardless, you know he's going to be up there on Glen Crutchery Road, walking up with a minute to go, rolling his bike up, and off he goes, and highly likely to win a TT or two in T.
Well, yeah, from what we've seen this evening, I think there's at least 3, if not 4 people that are more than capable of winning 2 or 3 TTs this year. Who's your money on?
You. Right, let's wrap this thing up. Firstly, Lee Johnston, it's been an absolute pleasure. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Pleasure was all yours, but it was nice to see everybody, so thanks for having me. See that? See that there? I'm not even Manx. Look at that reception.
I'm not even going to try it because they won't even cheer for me on purpose.
Let's hear you for Chris.
See?
Oh!
I don't care.
A few people have left. Sorry.
All my fan base was at the back and they've left. Right, if you want the latest news and views, make sure you check TT at TT Racers Official out on the socials. What socials are you on, Lee?
I've got no idea.
Brilliant. All the latest news is at iomttracers.com. So if you want to find out what bike Michael will be on at this year's TT, the best place to try is the website, iomttracers.com. Is there anything else left to say, Lee?
That's all for me.
Are you going to be out there signing some stuff?
No.
Boo! Do you want Lee out there signing some stuff? Perfect. Right. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for being part of it, Lee. We will be back at the Northwest 200. And we'll be rolling out the podcast all the way up to the dailies at the TT in just over a month's time. But until then, Lee, ta very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everybody.
We found the night we kissed.